are you? I have two questions. I'll start with the easier one. So I've spoken with you before about myself being a rock climber and cliff developer. So my climbing career has been an awesome career, and it has gotten to the point now where it is like become really grand, a lot of fantastic things happening, kind of like a really peak high point. And the momentum of my desire to continue to develop, push the edge of difficulty and put up new routes is still there. But in spite of everything that seems to be unfolding right in front of me with my climbing career, I don't seem to love it anymore. And in my core, this has been a tug of war I've had for a short while. I want to walk away from it and do something else. I don't seem to, at my heart, want to do it anymore. But my desire still wants to. The Indiana Jones in me still wants to continue to do it. But my heart feels like it wants to go somewhere else.
See if you can settle into this question for a little bit. And we're not really asking you to reach back. We really are not asking you to reach back. But can you find that feeling place of enthusiasm for this? What makes that? It's a feeling of adventure. Use those words. A feeling of adventure or newness or pushing the limits. But that feeling of adventure, what is it about? Is it your awareness of having accomplished something beyond what you've done before? Or is it your awareness of others acknowledging that you're accomplishing something that is more than is usual? Or is it the discovery in the moment? In other words, what makes those peak moments the peak moments that they have been?
If I understand correctly, I would say that the drive that has continued to make me do what I've done for so many years, and I've been highly productive at it, has been the joy of going out into the unknown, into oftentimes dangerous territory, beautiful territory, new horizons, new woods, new trails, new cliffs, and being somewhere not first in the sense of, I'm the first one there, but first in the sense of it's still virgin territory. I have no idea what's going to happen next, and letting all of that unfold. And it's kind of like a piece of art in a sense.
Consider it from this vantage point. So imagine that you are in a new area and you are tuned in and you are enjoying your hike and your climb, and you find a new trail, you do your way of marking it, you see new things, you experience new heights, you accomplish new things, and you feel exhilaration about it. And then let's say that you go back to that trail and you do it again, almost the same. In fact, it's like your inner being led you pretty much the same way in the same place again. And then you do it again, and then you do it again, and then you say to yourself, but I've discovered this trail, I've discovered this, so there's nothing new in it for me, and so you don't feel that exhilaration. Would that probably be accurate?
Yes, absolutely.
And then let's say that you take someone with you that has not been there before, who maybe even doesn't have the capacity for intuition that you do, and maybe isn't even as strong as you are, but they go with you, they follow with you, and they have an awesome experience which you now witness, which makes that same trail different for you because they're different components. Would that be sort of accurate?
Yes.
So let's say that you've charted several trails and you are leading different people at differing degrees of ability, and let's say that now you have a group that is really not used to this at all, but they are finding new awareness within themselves and new intuition within themselves, and most of all new happiness within themselves, and you are getting to witness it. Would it be good for you? Would that be accurate? Would it be good for you?
The answer is definitely yes. You mean it? So would it be good for me if other people enjoyed what I
that's the question we're asking.
Yes.
Good, but not
yes,
as good.
But it is not what fuels me.
So now what about this? So what if it's just you and you are on a familiar trail, but you are tuned in to your inner being in a more precise way than you've ever been before? And so now you are doing this trail through the eyes of Source. Now, even though you've been there before, this time you rendezvous with spectacles in nature, the likes of which you have never seen, because your inner being knows where they are. Your inner being knows what the atmospheric conditions are, and when the atmospheric conditions produce things that you have never seen before. Your inner being takes you on a hike that your inner being would like to go on. What about that?
That is absolutely yes.
That's what we would
That
do.
is what I'm looking
We'd take our inner being along, or we'd go where our inner being wants to go, because it doesn't matter how many times you've gone or how well marked the trail is. When you hook up with your inner being, who knows all of the intentions that you hold, the new that you keep asking for, you see this somewhat boredom that you've discovered, and that's a stronger word maybe than you would have used, but this feeling that there's not as much new exhilaration potential has caused you to ask for more unique things, and your inner being knows what they are and where they are and will guide you to them.
That would lead me, I guess, straight into my second question,
Yeah,
which
that's the one we're waiting for.
the start of my question was going to be your perspective and insight on the nature of my inner being and relationship with it and such, but I'll start it now by saying that it seems like my inner being does not, because I have a very visceral, direct connection with what my inner being is, it does not seem to get much pleasure from just doing the rock climbing and the same old thing anymore.
Your inner being is getting the pleasure, but you're not letting it in, and that's the question that we want to ask. It's turned into a physical thing for you rather than an inspired thing for you.
Yes, absolutely.
And until you're letting it be an inspired thing, then you're not hooking up with the newness that your inner being is experiencing. This conversation helps us in so many ways, because we want you to understand that your inner being is expanding with you and through you as well.
Well, I have been, during the last couple of years, I have slowly gravitated away from the cliffs, although I'm still doing what I'm doing. And I've been going out and meditating in caves a lot by myself, and in going out in the woods deep by myself. And my inner being seems to really thrive going away from the climbing environment and into expanding in, it seems strange, but meditating in the caves, walking through the woods. There is a connection with nature and the universe itself that is starting to unfold.
And so you're discovering that thrill isn't just from challenge and adventure and danger.
Yes, ma'am.
That it's from alignment.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And alignment comes in lots of different forms, doesn't it? Here's a question for all of you, but we're going to direct it right at you. Do you believe that there are many not yet chartered paths in your vortex?
Yes.
And do you believe that your inner being knows what they are and where the thrills upon them are?
It certainly seems to, yes.
And so when you get out on this trail of life, this physical trail, who do you think is leading the way?
Inner being.
Your inner being is taking you to the places that you've already have led the way to. You lead the way through your questions. Your inner being then shines a light on the answer to your questions, and you tune in to receive the direction. And so who's leading the way?
I guess I'm leading the way.
And how do you think your inner being feels about you leading the way?
I assume pretty good.
Your inner being is thrilled with you leading the way. That's why you came. You said, I'll go forth into the new adventure, and I will explore all of the new contrasts, and I will come to new conclusions about what I want. And your inner being says, and once you conclude something, we will take note of it, and we will give our undivided attention to it, and we will hold our vibrational awareness of it, and we will shine a light on it so that you can find your vibrational way to it. And then we will go together. And as we go together in the new place that you have defined, we will feel exhilarated, and depending on how tuned in you are, you'll feel it too. Helpful?
So is it my ego that is still attached to wanting to finish the climbing? Because I'm at,
Yeah.
it is? Okay. Well, it feels like it.
Your thinking mind has made a decision that you're going to do something that you set out to do. Your inner mind knows that you've set out to do a whole lot of things. It's just that your human mind is a little more limiting on what the actual goal of the climb is. Does that make sense to you?
I think so. It feels almost like I'm, say, an actor that's done a lot of great movies and stuff, but now has this slot in the best movie you've hoped for all your life, and now I don't want to do the movie, and walking away from it seems difficult, although...
Because you've discovered that there are other exhilarating experiences in things that are less known to you.
So walking away from all of the climbing, even at its apex, is... Yeah, my ego feels like it does not want to. There's a lot of attachment there for good and bad reasons.
You don't have to walk away from it. You might just take a little fork in the road while you're on it. You see what we mean? In other words,
I do.
There's so much about that that is still satisfying, but there's so much more that you haven't allowed yourself to discover yet, that your inner being knows you want and is willing and ready and able to lead you to.
I heard that.